Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth. I typically make cooking and mom videos, so make sure you subscribe for more videos like this and hit the like button. Today is my 20-week pregnancy update video. So that means I'm about halfway done, which is a little bit weird because pregnancy always seems like in some ways it goes by really fast and in some ways it goes by really slow. Like definitely in the first trimester when I was sick almost every day, that seemed like it was taking forever. But now I just don't really think about it as much. By the time it's been 9 months, at least with my first pregnancy, I felt like it had just been forever and ever and was ready to have my baby. So I'm sure I'll feel like that again by the end. But right now I'm feeling pretty good. So my app says that my baby is about the size of a banana, which seems a little bit silly. No, that's actually talking about the length from the top of the head to the butt. It just seems a little bit weird to think about something the shape of a banana inside of me. Obviously, that's not the case. This week, according to the scale, I've gained about 2 pounds. I did eat restaurant food a couple times over the weekend, so I usually retain a little bit of water from that, from all the extra sodium. So it's probably more like 1 or 1.5. So I'll give it a few more days to kind of even out and see if that was actual weight gain or not. But either way, that's totally fine. As far as eating at restaurants right now with the pandemic, I've decided I'm not going to actually eat inside just because I feel like that's a little bit riskier. And I'm a very risk-averse person, so I've been eating outside some. We have had lots of nice weather recently, or I'll just get takeout. We do that sometimes and just eat at home. As far as symptoms this week, I really haven't had any major symptoms. I did have a pretty crazy episode of pregnancy brain where I lost an onion for several days. I was cooking dinner and I went in my pantry and I have a little box with my onions. And I had a bag of onions where there was only 1 onion left. So I got that onion, then I was going to throw the bag away. So I set the onion down somewhere and threw the bag away. And then when I came back, I couldn't find the onion. I couldn't remember if I set it down with the other onions or on the counter somewhere or what, but it wasn't there. It wasn't with the other onions. It wasn't out on the counter. So I looked everywhere and I just gave up. So I'm like, oh, lovely. I'm gonna have an onion rot in my house. So then a few days later, I decided to look for it again and I found it. It was on the floor of my pantry, just like kind of next to and underneath some other stuff. So apparently I put the onion on the floor in the pantry and thought that would be a good spot for an onion that I was going to cook in 30 seconds. But anyway, I'm at least glad that I found it and it didn't have to sit there and rot. I've been feeling the baby move just like normal. I tried to catch it on camera this morning and I thought I saw maybe a little bit of movement, but when I played it back, I didn't actually see anything. So she must be camera shy. My first baby was definitely camera shy too, or maybe it was just coincidence. Maybe sometime this week I'll catch it on camera. Okay. Overall, my back has been feeling pretty good, but I did go on a walk with my neighbor the other day. Normally when we go on walks, we take pretty long walks, like 2.5 to 3 miles. And I didn't plan on going that long this time, but it just kind of happened and we ended up walking for about 3 miles. I felt perfectly fine during the walk. My back didn't hurt, but then within an hour or two, it started hurting pretty bad. So I said, yeah, I think from now on, I'll keep it to more like 1.5 miles, no more than 2 miles at the most. But then the next day, it felt perfectly fine. So luckily that wasn't anything that I threw out. It was just feels like I was probably sore. When I can, I try to do strength training workouts. I have a couple sets of dumbbells that I'll use. Sometimes I'll follow along with a workout program like on YouTube. Sometimes, like this morning, I just did my own thing. I did just a lot of different exercises with the dumbbells for arms. And then they say squats are really good when you're pregnant. So I did some squats and some lunges. Hopefully I'll be a little bit sore tomorrow. I love strength training. That's strength training and walking outside are my favorite types of workout. As long as you don't go crazy, those can both be really good for pregnancy. Of course, you'll want to talk to your provider before you start any kind of new workout routine. But the general advice and what was given to me by my midwife is don't do anything more than what you're used to, but feel free to continue your normal workouts. And I had been doing strength training a few times a week and walking a few times a week before I was pregnant. Unfortunately, during my first trimester, I wasn't able to really work out very much. I've been able to work out not quite as much as I did before I was pregnant, but at least a few times a week now. So hopefully I'll actually build a little bit of muscle during the pregnancy, because with my first pregnancy, I did a lot of walking, but I didn't do as much of the strength training as I should have. So I definitely was weaker and it took me longer to build my muscles back up. I'd say it took probably 4 or 5 months before I was really in a position where I felt strong again. So I don't want to lose that now. I want to keep doing the strength training. So even if I'm not as strong as I was before I was pregnant, I'm still in a decent spot, and it won't take me as long to build back up to where I want to be. And I'm not like a bodybuilder or anything crazy like that. I just enjoy having muscles and being able to feel like I'm a strong woman, and also to be able to do things like walk around, walk up a hill without getting out of breath, just being in generally good shape. And it makes me feel good, and I know it's good for my overall health and longevity, and that's important to me. Another symptom that I had more so in my first pregnancy, and I haven't really noticed now, has been losing less of my hair. So in my first pregnancy, I'm pretty sure it was around now, or maybe even a little bit earlier in my pregnancy, I almost completely stopped shedding my hair. And then after he was born, about 2.5 months postpartum, for about somewhere in between 2 and 3 months, I just shed lots and lots of hair, and that's completely normal. That's what happens to most people. But I haven't noticed, I've still been just shedding my normal amount of hair. I'll notice, like when I'm taking a shower or brushing my hair, I'll notice what seems like a normal amount of hair coming out. So I'm wondering if that's going to change soon or not. It would probably be better if it doesn't change, because hopefully that would mean I don't lose as much postpartum and get like the weird little fuzzy hairs that grow out, but we'll see. And also, about this point in my first pregnancy, I was constantly thinking about nesting and getting things done for the baby. But now that I have a toddler, and also I already have a lot of the basic baby stuff, I'm not thinking about that as much. I did start thinking about the nursery a little bit. Right now we have our toddler in his own room. My husband and my dad painted that room. It hadn't been painted in a while, so it definitely needed a fresh coat of paint. And we put up undersea decals. So it has like a whale, a bunch of fish, sea turtles, anemones, clownfish. It's really cute. We'll have a different room for our little girl, so we want to do something else for that. I was thinking maybe like a rainforest theme. That was kind of my other idea for Dominic. So we'll see. We're starting to think about that, if we want to repaint the room and put up some kind of something like a decal. We thought about like maybe painting, having one of our artistic family members paint a mural or something like that. But I decided to stick with the decals, just because that way, if in a few years they are really into something else and want to change the theme of the room, we won't necessarily have to repaint if we don't want to. We could just take the decals off. So probably here in the next few weeks, we'll figure out what we want to do with the nursery, and at least get that planned, so then we can work on it in the coming couple of months and get it done well before baby is here, get all the furniture set up. With Dominic, we actually had a bassinet in our room until he grew out of that, and then we kept the crib in our room for a few more months. We probably won't keep this baby in our room for as long, because we kept Dominic for about 10.5 or 11 months, and he kept waking up in the middle of the night. And as soon as we put him in his own room, just a few days later, he started sleeping through the night. We'll see how this baby does in our room at first, but if she is having problems sleeping in our room, we might just put her in her own room earlier and see how that is. I haven't had any prenatal appointments in the last week, and I don't have any scheduled this coming week either. Right now I'm on once a month, and then once I go into my third trimester, I'll go to twice a month, and then the last, I think, month is once every week. So we're just doing the standard schedule. It's really not too much different in light of the pandemic. Of course, everyone's wearing a mask, and in the waiting room, there aren't as many chairs. When I go, there usually aren't a lot of people in the waiting room anyway, maybe like 3 or 4 max. They also have a policy, so partners can only come back during ultrasounds. They can't come to appointments. Whereas previously, you would sometimes have multiple people coming in to an appointment. Now it's only the person getting care. And we're not supposed to bring kids either. They told me if I absolutely can't find childcare, they would rather have me come in and bring my toddler than not get the care. But my mom has been able to babysit, so that's always worked out for us. But I know some people can't get care providers, so they'll bring in their children. That's about it for this week, so we'll end with a bump shot. Here it is from the front and the side. I have to keep telling myself that I don't need to pull my stomach in. It's okay. The other side. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.